It is customary to start all our classes or any activity by taking the name of God, and usually chant a Shanti mantra at the beginning of all classes. 2 Shanti mantras I will chant. Om Sahana Vavatu. You can join me if you know the mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Second Shanti mantra is particularly relevant for Bhagavad Gita study. It is one of the stanzas from the Gita Dhyana Shloka. In many of the Bhagavad Gita books, at the beginning, there are a number of verses called Gita Dhyana Shloka. So this is one of those. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum lankayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramanandamadhavam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I offer my loving salutations to the blissful Lord Madhava, by whose and the lame can cross over mountains and reach his destination. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. Now I begin with a few general remarks about Bhagavad Gita, its place in the Vedanta or spiritual heritage, and its role and importance in our lives, day-to-day lives. In the very rich spiritual heritage of Vedanta, there are 2 broad categories of knowledge. Now, the whole universe of knowledge, if you take, it can be divided into 2 broad categories. One of them is called Paravidya. Para means supreme knowledge. Paravidya, one branch is called. Second branch is called Aparavidya. Apara means opposite of supreme, empirical. Here and now, immediate, visible. Now, Aparavidya deals with everything you are familiar with. Whatever branch of knowledge we study in the schools and colleges, universities, other institutions, all come under the Brahvidya, means knowledge of the world. The Aparavidya includes everything, whatever branch of knowledge you can name, from astrology, astronomy to biology, botany, chemistry, all those things, all the social sciences, psychology, sociology, archaeology, all those things, and all the sciences and technologies, physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, all branches of engineering, everything, all technology, everything, language, linguistics, grammar, mathematics, all those things, all the way until zoology, from A to Z. All those branches of knowledge come under one branch of one big umbrella called Aparavidya. Now, Bhagavad Gita does not have any Aparavidya in it. If you want to know Aparavidya, then we have to go to schools and colleges, universities that we are familiar with. We don't deal with that in Bhagavad Gita. What does Bhagavad Gita deal with then? It deals with Paravidya. Paravidya means Paravidya is defined in the Mundaka Upanishad in this way. What is Paravidya? The Upanishad says, Para yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. Para is that branch of knowledge in which we know the supreme reality. Akshara means the imperishable supreme reality, Brahman. That branch of knowledge which deals with the supreme reality, that is called Paravidya. So Bhagavad Gita has Paravidya in it. Now, where does Bhagavad Gita fit in the whole body of Vedanta scriptures? The whole Vedanta scriptures contain three major classes of scriptures. These are called Prasthana Trayam. You make a note of this word, Prasthana Trayam. Prasthana means departure, going from one place to another place. Trayam means a group of three. Prasthana Trayam means a group of three scriptures, of which Bhagavad Gita forms one of them. Prasthana Trayam, group of three scriptures forming the entire body of Vedanta. Everything, whatever Vedanta book you see, any commentary, anything in Bhagavad Gita, anything you see, falls under Prasthana Trayam. What are the two other branches? First branch of Prasthana Trayam is the Upanishad, all the major Upanishads. There are 10 or 12 major Upanishads and more than 100 minor Upanishads. So the Upanishads are called, Upanishads are called Shruti Prasthana. Don't worry about the terminology. Upanishad form under Prasthana Trayam. One branch of Prasthana Trayam is Upanishad, all the Upanishads, under commentaries and everything. Second branch of Prasthana Trayam is Bhagavad Gita. Third branch of Upanishads is called Brahma Sutra. Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra. Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra. Three branches of Vedanta scriptures. Everything in Vedanta falls under one of these three things. Now, Bhagavad Gita has a very special place among all these three because it contains the essence of all the Upanishads. All whatever the Upanishads teach, Bhagavad Gita also teaches. Plus, Gita teaches something which Upanishads do not have. Upanishads have what we call the jnana kanda. That means the knowledge, what is meant for nature, all those things Upanishads teach. But there is some, but not much information in the Upanishads about how to gain that knowledge. Practical aspects are not very much emphasized in the Upanishads, though it is there. Major emphasis on jnana, knowledge, self-knowledge, atma jnana or brahma jnana, atman or brahman. Bhagavad Gita has both of these, theoretical aspect of jnana and practical aspect of practice, how we can gain that knowledge. That is where our emphasis now is. In our study, our emphasis is not so much on philosophy. We can go on and endlessly discussing philosophy, various schools of thought, all those things. But what really matters there, Bhagavad Gita plays a very, very important role. So at the end of every chapter in Bhagavad Gita, if you go to any chapter and go to the very end of the chapter, there is a statement there. The statement is called the colophon, C-O-L-O-P, which says what the topic of the chapter was and who told it to whom. The statement is called colophon. In the colophon, you will see at the end of first chapter, for example, you will see it is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Upanishadsu, Brahma Vidyayam, Yoga Shastre, Sri Krishna Arjuna Sammade, Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyaya. Like this one statement you see at the end of first chapter, at the end of every chapter. This statement is called a colophon. Now in these chapters, the subject content of this chapter was and where it happened. It is a part of Mahabharata. And who taught this? Sri Krishna taught this, gave this teaching to Arjuna, Krishna Arjuna Samade. Samvada means conversation, in the form of a conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, which took place on the battlefield. This is very important. Upanishads were taught in the forest hermitages. Very peaceful surroundings, no disturbance, no botheration, no family problems, no. And under those conditions, Upanishads were taught. But we are not living under those conditions. We are living in the middle of the world. A lot of problems and this, so many difficulties are there every day, day-to-day problems. We are living in the midst of problems. So the teaching of Gita is very, very relevant to our daily life, because it teaches us how to tackle the day-to-day problems of daily life of ordinary people. We are not rishis meditating in the forest. We are many people living in the world, in families, says instructions on how to deal with day-to-day problems. And in our study, we will emphasize that practical aspect of Bhagavad Gita. So it also has Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. Brahma Vidya means what the Upanishads teach. Knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Atman. That also Upanishad has. Very important. Yoga Shastra means practical aspect of Brahma Vidya. How to achieve Brahma Vidya. So Bhagavad Gita is very, very important. It is the only scripture which contains both of these instructions. Puranas also contain, but Puranas have a lot of different stories. Sometimes the stories are interesting, but sometimes they are also distracting. What happens is when we read the Puranas, we become so engrossed in the story that we forget the message behind the story. That does not happen in the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita, the story is limited only to the first chapter. Once this stage is set for the teaching of the Gita, where it happened, who taught to whom, once that is done in the first chapter, then the remaining chapters don't deal with the story. They deal only with the teaching of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Very practical, very applicable to our day-to-day life, and teaches us how to solve the day-to-day problems of life. So that is the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Now, Adhyatma Vidya means knowledge of the self. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are many chapters where the self-knowledge is taught. For example, in the second chapter, the description of Atman comes. Second chapter, verse number 20, will deal with all those things when we get to the second chapter. Then Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks about the nature of the self. Who are we? We are not the body and the mind. We are the Atman. What is Atman? It has no birth, it has no death, it has no old age, it is beyond all these things. It is pure consciousness, Satchidananda. That is explained in the second chapter, from verse number 20 onwards. Like this one very important sloka is then 20th verse in second chapter. There Sri Krishna describes the knowledge, gives the knowledge of the self, Brahma Vidya. It comes in other chapters too, in the fifth chapter, in the sixth chapter, in the 13th chapter, in the 12th chapter, in the 10th chapter, all until 18th chapter. Throughout this Brahma Vidya comes. That is one part. The more important part from our perspective is Yoga Shastra, the practical aspect. What specific things we have to do to acquire peace of mind, knowledge of the self. Peace of mind in the midst of the disturbances in which we are living, how to remain calm and peaceful, very important, and how to gain knowledge of the self, how to reach liberation, moksha or mukti. That practical instructions are given in every chapter beginning from second chapter. Second chapter, we have the important messages of strength. We have to be strong. We'll begin with that as soon as I finish the introduction to the first chapter. So in this way, Bhagavad Gita has all this very important information, and we will now, what I do now is go to the first chapter. And the first chapter is was only this. It's only sets the stage for the teaching of Sri Krishna. There is no teaching in the first chapter. It's a story part. As you all know very well, it comes in the Mahabharata. Excuse me. And Gita is in the form of a conversation between Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is the father of the Kauravas. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons, Duryodhana, Dushasana, and all those people. And Sanjaya was a saintly person, very nice. He plays a very important role because he narrates the whole Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra. So where does this happen? This story happens in the battlefield, Kurukshetra battlefield. There's a place called Kurukshetra near Delhi. That is where this is supposed to have happened. The Mahabharata war, teaching of Sri Krishna to Arjuna happened in Kurukshetra. So first verse, I'll just skim through the first chapter to give the finished with the story part, and we will concentrate on the teachings part from second chapter onwards. So Dhritarashtra, watch out. Dhritarashtra asks a question. First chapter, if you have Gita book with you, I hope you all have your Gita books. You can look at this and you can chant also. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. Oh Sanjaya, Dhritarashtra asks the question of Sanjaya. In this Kurukshetra battlefield, all the people who are engaged in fighting, Yugatsava means those who are willing to fight, ready to fight. And their Mamaka means my sons, Duryodhana and other Kauravas, Pandavas Chaiva, Pandavas also, 5 brothers and their army. What did they do? Oh Sanjaya, what did they do? What happened? Tell me. Sanjaya's narration, the rest of the Gita is all Sanjaya's narration to Dhritarashtra. So Sanjaya says, Drishtva Pandavanikam Vyodham Duryodhanastada Acharya Mupasangamya Raja Vachanamabravit. Seeing the armies of Pandavas and Kauravas, then what happened was Duryodhana approaches the teacher Drona. The Kauravas, Pandavas teacher was Dronacharya. And when the armies decided to fight, Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya both preferred to stay with the Kauravas. And Sri Krishna went to the Pandavas, said that part of the story, Mahabharata, you know. So Duryodhana says to Drona, addressing his teacher, he says, verse number 3, Shetam Panduputrandrapadaputrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. I'll go through these slokas very quickly because only sets the stage for the story part of it. Then from second chapter onwards, we will focus on the teachings in much greater detail. So Duryodhana says to Drona, these 2 armies have assembled here on the battlefield. Please look at them. On our side, there is Drishtaketu. On our side, there are some people. Pandava said there are some people, and Kaurava said there are some people. He is focusing attention on who is fighting on whose side. So he says, for example, in Shloka number 7, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjayaha Ashvathama Vikarnascha Somadattistataivacha. On our side, that means on Kaurava's side, Duryodhana is saying to Dronacharya, you are there, Dronacharya is there, the teacher who taught all the archery and other martial arts to both Pandavas and Kauravas. Dronacharya. He preferred to stay with the Kauravas. So you are there, Duryodhana tells him. Bhishma is there, Jaya, Ashwathama, Samadatti, Jayadratha, all those people, he names a few people, prominent people in the Kauravas army. Then there are so many other warriors, Anyecha Bhavashura, all great heroes are assembled on our side. But though Duryodhana's army was much bigger than Pandava's army, Duryodhana's army had 18 Akshohini. Akshohini means like a division of an army. 18 divisions Duryodhana had. But Pandavas had only 5 divisions, smaller army. But Krishna was on Pandava's side. So Duryodhana notes this one. Yes, though his army is bigger, he thinks it is Tam Tadasmakam Balam Bhishma Virakshitam Paryaptam Tvidametesham Balam Bhima Virakshitam. On our side, Duryodhana says, under the protection of Bhishma, Bhishma Virakshitam, protected by Bhishma, it is inadequate. Aparyaptam. Aparyaptam means not adequate. He has 18 divisions as opposed to Pandavas 5 divisions, but still he thinks our army is not sufficient. Aparyaptam, it's not enough, he says. And then on the Pandava side, they are a very big army, he says. This is a twisted view of reality. You can see from the very beginning how Duryodhana has this twisted perception of things. What is right, he thinks as wrong, and that he does throughout his life. So, Paryaptam Tidame Tesham Balam Bhima Virakshitam, protected by Bhima, their Pandavas army is Paryaptam means it is quite adequate, enough. Our army is Aparyaptam, not adequate, though he has the bigger army. So this shows the personality of Duryodhana. And then what happens is the formal beginning of the war begins by blowing of the conches by various people. Bhishma was the first one. This sloka number 12. Tasya samjanayan harsham kuruvruddha pitamaha simmanadam yanadyochai shankam dadmo pratapavan. To make Duryodhana happy, the grandfather Bhishma, the old man of the Kurus, he began blowing his conch very loudly, roaring like a lion, like Simhanadam. When Bhishma blew the conch, it was like the roaring of a lion. Such a great sound he made. And that pleased Duryodhana very much. And then all other people also, other people that assembled there, they all started blowing their conch and playing various instruments, war music, kettle drums and cymbals and trumpets. All those other people began playing their instruments, their shankha and other instruments. And then Rishikesha, Krishna also blew his conch. Krishna's conch was named Panchajanyam. Panchajanyam Rishikesho. This sloka number 15. Everybody blew their conch. Krishna blew his conch, Panchajanyam. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjayaha Paundram Dadmau Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrukodaraha. Bhima also blew his conch. Had the conch named Devadatta, named Paundrash. Conch means Shankham. So like this, everybody, their conch is blowing. And then everything is set for the beginning of the war. Both armies are eager to start the war. At that time, what happened was, Arjuna says to Sri Krishna. Arjuna was the main person in the Pandava side. This verse number 21. Arjuna Uvacha. For the first time, Arjuna speaks. Senayor Bhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayamechyuta Yavadetan Niriksheham Yodhakamanavasthitan Kairmaya Sayodhavyam Asmin Ranasamudhyame. Arjuna says to Sri Krishna, "Oh Krishna, please take my chariot and park it right in the middle of the two armies. Ubhayoho Senayoho Madhye, between the two armies, Ratham Sthapaya, stop my chariot. So I want to see who is assembled on the Kaurava side. And I may see them, the Kaurava standing, ready to start the battle, with whom I have to fight. Kair Mahasa Sa Yodhavyam, Kaisaha Maya Yodhavyam, with whom I have to fight. Who are the people against whom we are set to fight? I want to get a look, see those people. Stop my this Ratham chariot in front of the middle of the two armies. So Arjuna says that one. Then Rishikesha, Sri Krishna, takes the chariot in which Arjuna was sitting. Sri Krishna was the Sarathi, this charioteer. Arjuna was sitting in the chariot. He takes and parks the car, the chariot, right in the middle of the two armies, so Arjuna can see who are all assembled on the Kaurava side. Verse number 24. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya says, Sanjaya's narration continues throughout the Gita. To Dhritarashtra. Evamakto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayor Bayor Madhye Sthapayitva Rathottamam. Thus, asked by Arjuna, Sri Krishna stationed the chariot between the two armies. Now, Arjuna sees the Kaurava side of the army. Then, when he sees the Kaurava side, he notices all the closest people, they have assembled there. So, verse number 26. Tatra pashyat sthitan partha pitrunatha pitamahan acharyan matulan bhratrin Putran, Pautran, Sakhims, Tatha, Shoshuran, Suradas-chaiva, Senayor-Vayorapi. When Arjuna saw the army, whom does he see? He sees his Drona, his teacher, Bhishma, the grandfather, uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, comrades, friends with whom he grew up. All these people are there on the Kaurava side. These are the people whom I have to fight with. Arjuna. Now the problem begins. Then verse number 27. Tan samikshasa kaunteyaha sarvan bandhu navasthitan kripaya paraya vishto vishidanidam abravit. This is the beginning of the stage. Stage is set for teaching of Gita. Why Krishna taught all Gita philosophy? They are there assembled to fight. And how did the teaching of philosophy happen there? And in the middle of the battlefield of all the places. This is how it began. The whole Gita begins here. Tan Samiksha, looking at all those people on the side, Bhishma, Drona, Karna are assembled there, all the relatives. Kripaya Paraya Vishtaha. He was overcome with supreme compassion. Kripa means compassion. Paraya Kripaya, with supreme compassion. How can I kill these very people with whom I grew up, who taught me, who brought me up, with whom I grew up, with whom I learned all the vidya, all the knowledge of warfare and everything? How can I fight them? These are my own people, very close relatives, very close friends and relatives. How can I kill all this? This question arose in the mind of Arjuna. That is the beginning of the story. Then he says, verse number 29, Sidanti mamagatrani mukham cha parishusyati veputhuscha sarire me romaharshascha jayate. he says to Krishna, Arjuna says, my limbs droop. Mouth became dry. Veputascha sarire me pramaharshascha dayate. All the hair standing on hairy relation became so overcome with compassion and how to kill these people. That strong feeling took hold of Arjuna. And what did he so? What did he say? Verse number 30. Gandevam sramsate hastat takchaiva paridahyate nacha shaknomyavastatam brahmati vachame manaha. My bow, Gandiva, was his famous bow. It is slipping from my hand. I can't even hold the bow. I'm so overcome with compassion and fear. My skin is afire. The skin started burning. Paridahya means skin started burning sensation. All signs of extreme stress. When somebody is extremely subject to high stress, high degree of stress, then all these physical symptoms manifest in that person's body. Then he says, 32. Nakangshe vijayam Krishna nacha rajyam sukhani cha kim no rajyena govinda kim bhogair jivitena va. What is the use? Jivitena va kim bhogam bhogaihi. I don't seek victory. Vijayam nakangshe. I don't want to win in this war. Because if I win in this war, I'll have to kill all those people. Nakangshe vijayam Krishna. I don't seek victory in this war. Nasarajyam sukhanica. I'm not seeking wealth or kingdom or happiness. Kimno rajyana govinda. What is the use of winning this big kingdom? Kim bhogar jivitena. What is the use of living, enjoying the kingdom, which comes at the cost of the lives of all the people who are very dear to me? I don't want to fight, he says. Then he says, verse number 35. Etannahantamichhami natopi madhusudana apite lokyarajyasya eto kimnamahi krite. I do not wish to kill, though they may kill me. Natopi, even if I am killed. Oh Krishna, I don't want to kill my closest relatives and friends and relatives. Not even for kingdom over the three worlds. Even if I get the three worlds by killing these people, I don't want to do it because I don't want to kill these people. Then he says, then his problem statement continues. We skip several verses there. Verse number 44. I want to finish chapter 1 quickly and then start studying chapter 2 in much detail. So that's why I'm rushing. Verse number 45. Aho batamahat papam kartum yavasita vayam yadrajya sukhalo bhena hantam swatana mudyata. Alas, we seem determined to commit the grievous sin. Pat papam kartum yavasita vayam. We are assembled here to commit a serious kind of sin, papam. Sins due to greed for kingdom and its pleasures, we are up in arms and slaughter our own kinsmen. All this is for what? To gain the kingdom. To gain the kingdom, it seems we are going to kill all our relatives and friends and teachers and grandfather Bhishma, Karna, all those people. I don't want to do this. Then he says, for this last verse in the first chapter, Sanjay says, Evamuktva Arjuna Sankhye Ratopastha Upavishat Visrujya Sasharam Chapam Shokasam Nignamanasaha. Evamuktva Arjuna saying this one in the war. Sankhya means in the war, on the battlefield. He sat down in the chariot and sank into the seat of the chariot. His bow had fallen down, arrow and bow had fallen down from his hand, and his body was trembling, shaking, and he was experiencing a great degree of stress. And he says, I don't want to fight. How can I fight? How can I kill? That is the first chapter. It simply sets the stage for Sri Krishna to begin his teachings. Otherwise, how would he start teaching philosophy in the middle of the battlefield? So Arjuna had this problem. He didn't want to fight. That is all the first chapter. And it says here, it is same with Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad. So Bhagavad Gita is equivalent to Upanishad, though it is not an Upanishad. Upanishad comes in the Vedas, it's the last part of the Vedas. But Gita comes in the Mahabharata, which is not a Upanishad. Mahabharata is a itihasa. Ramayana and Mahabharata is called itihasa. Thus it happened. Itihasa, thus it happened. That's historical, but they are also works of poetry based upon historical facts, but somewhat embellished to make it interesting. So Bhagavad Gita also Upanishad. So Brahma Vidya Yoga Shastra. Gita has both Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. Brahma Vidya means knowledge of the self. Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. Gita has that one. You study that one. Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra means practical instinct. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. All those yogas will come in the Dhyana Yoga, in the Bhagavad Gita. It has both theoretical and practical aspects, and we will study that one beginning from second chapter. Now I'll close the first chapter here. If you have any urgent questions, you can ask me now before we begin the second chapter. Otherwise, we will go to second chapter. Important chapter. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are two chapters which are very, very important. One of them is second chapter. The other one is which chapter? 18th chapter. Second chapter, 18th chapter. 18th chapter summarizes the whole Gita. Second chapter introduces almost all the topics except probably Bhakti Yoga is not there, everything else is there. So we'll begin at second chapter. Atadvitiyo dhyaya Sanjaya vacha tam tata kripaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. Sanjaya continues his narration to Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya says to Arjuna, who was overcome by compassion, fear, and confusion, who was full of tears. Ashrupurna collection. Arjuna was shedding tears in the battlefield. Can you imagine the great hero like Arjuna, who was known to be the greatest warrior of his time, and he's shedding tears there, sitting in the chariot, putting aside his Gandiva, bow, and unwilling to, unable to fight. Very sad situation. Vishidantam Arjuna was, Vishada means grief. Arjuna who was grief stricken. Madhusudana idam vakyam uvacha. Vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana. Madhusudana means Bhagavan Sri Krishna. In the Gita, both Krishna and Arjuna are known by many, many different names. In one book, there is a list of all these various names that Vyasa uses to indicate Krishna and Arjuna. Parantapa, all those things are used. But only that one edition in which all the names are listed at the end is Swami Brahmarupananda's edition. If you have it, you can look at the end of the Gita. Otherwise, we'll just see the names as they come. So first verse in second chapter, simply a link statement which says Sanjaya continued this story, narration of the story of the Mahabharata to Dhritarashtra, and he says, Sri Krishna says the following to Arjuna, who was overcome with grief. Really, the Gita begins with the second verse of the second chapter. Sri Bhagavad Vacha. Second verse and third verse, both verses in the Gita, the second chapter, they form one unit. So we'll study them together. And these are very important verses. I'll explain the importance of these two verses right now. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupasthitam Anaryajustam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna Klaibyam Asmagamah Partha Naitatvayi Papadyate Kshudram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyaktvottishta Parantapa. Very important verses. Swami Vivekananda spoke about these two verses in one of his lectures on Gita. And Swamiji went to the extent of saying that if anybody understands the real significance of these two slokas 2 and 3 in the second chapter, they will have understood the whole essence of Bhagavad Gita. That's how important Swamiji considered these two verses to be, verses 2 and 3. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, Kutastva Kashmalamidam. Kashmala means, really it means impurity. Here it means confusion, fear, timidity, all those things. Kuta, from where this impurity, these problems have come in your mind. That too, at the critical juncture, Vishame Samapasthitam. Vishama means a critical time, just at the very moment when Arjuna is supposed to manifest his maximum strength. Until then, they were only practicing warfare during the earlier stage. But no, actual warfare has begun. It's about to begin. Facing the huge, bigger army of 18 divisions, and Pandavas only have five divisions. At this moment, when Arjuna is supposed to manifest his maximum prowess, for which he was known, is displaying weakness. From where this weakness has come over Arjuna at this critical moment. Anarya Jushtam is not becoming of a noble. Arya means a noble person. Arjuna was a noble person, born in a royal family. And to such a person like you, who is known to be a very great hero, and a great reputation as the greatest hero of all the other people of his time, Anarya Jushtam, it is unbecoming, uncharacteristic of a person like you. Aswargyam, it does not bode well for you even after death. Kshatriyas, when they die in the battlefield, they go to heaven. That is in our tradition, that is the belief. And if they run away from the battlefield, they go to hell. Running away from the battlefield is a no-no. Even now, if somebody joins the army in the United States, if they desert the army, they are brought back and imprisoned. It's a punishment. So it's not good. So you are behaving like a person who is so weak. You are not a weak person. Anari Jushta Maswargyam Akirtakaram. Akirtakaram means you will forever people will think of you as a person who ran away. From where this weakness has come. From where this timidity, unwelcome, noble spirit, unheavenly, disgraceful, Akirtakaram, disgraceful, come upon you at this critical juncture, O Arjuna. Sri Krishna tells this one. Then the second verse, which has instruction, Klaibyam asmagamah partha naitatvayi papadyate Shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa. This verse number 3 in second chapter. There Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, Klaibyam asmagama. Klaibya means unmanliness. Actually, in the grammar also they use the word Klaibya. Klaibya means neuter gender. Unmanliness. Don't yield na upapadyate. If you separate the word, then meaning becomes clear. So in you, etat klaibyam, this weakness, na upapadyate, is unbecoming, uncharacteristic, is inappropriate. This kind of weakness shown by you, if an ordinary person like any other soldier, there are hundreds of thousands of soldiers on either side, if any of them sees the great army of Kauravas and such a huge army, if he runs away, that's understandable. But not you, Arjuna, who is known to be the greatest warrior. In such a person of noble descent, known to be the great warrior, this kind of weakness is totally unbecoming, uncharacteristic, and inappropriate. Don't yield to this unruliness. Silly. This faint-heartedness, Hridaya means faint-heartedness. In the Great Army, anybody will become terrified. But not Arjuna. You're not supposed to do that one. Klaibyam partha etapena ipopadyate shudram hridaya daurbhalyam taktva, giving up this silly, petty, faint-heartedness. Uttishta parantapa, stand up. Call for strength. Swamiji liked these two verses very much because Swamiji was very fond of the notion of, he always spoke about strength. With great strength, you can achieve anything. In the Upanishad also, it says, even if you want to succeed in spiritual life, strength is required for success in worldly life. That is, we know. If you are very weak, everybody will trample all over us and we will get nowhere. You have to stand up and be strong. Even in spiritual life, if a person says, I'm a religious person, does not mean he should be weak. That weakness is not going to help in spiritual life also. Upanishad says, Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. This Atman cannot be reached, experienced by balahina, means a weak person. Strength is required. Swami emphasized greatly the importance of strength, especially when you're speaking to Indian audiences in India. Indian people have a reputation of being very weak. Always have been, and even now to some extent it is true. That weakness is very unbecoming and not helpful. It doesn't help us to achieve anything. Even spiritual life also, we have to have moral strength, spiritual strength, mental strength must be there. Physical strength is, of course, temporary. Physical strength is very important, but with age, the body becomes weak, and that is not preventable. That's okay. But mental strength is very important. Mental strength, emotional strength, and spiritual strength, these are very important. Swamiji again and again emphasized in his lectures the importance of strength. So he liked these two verses very much. And then again, his 7th chapter, when we come to that, we will see, 6 talks about strength. Balam balavatam asmi kamaragvi varjitam. What kind of strength? Destructive. Strength must be combined with compassion, understanding, and clarity. Without that, without sattvic qualities, pure strength, brute strength is not useful. It is destructive. So strength must be free from kama and raga. If a person is very strong and if he is a lot of kama, lust, he will do very bad things and get into not good. Raga vivarjitam, attachment and lust and anger, if these are combined with strength, it is very destructive, destroys. But strength must be combined with sattvic qualities, understanding, compassion, wisdom, discrimination. If these qualities are combined with strength, then it is very constructive and helpful to everyone. So it is that kind of strength that Sri Krishna is momentarily with all these people. So he had momentarily, as if he had forgotten that strength. Sri Krishna is reminding him, you're a strong person, you're a noble person. Get back your strength, manifest your strength at this critical moment, he says. So this very first teaching in the Gita, this is the first teaching. Then all the other philosophy, yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, everything will come. Kshetra, kshetrajna, purushottam, everything. But before Sri Krishna said anything, the very first thing, what did he say to Arjuna? Strength, message of strength. So Gita means strength. Sri Ramakrishna summarized the essence of Gita in this way. If you repeat Gita 10 times, Gita, 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 you will end up saying Tagi, Tagi. Tagi means one who renounces, Tyaga. Tyaga means renunciation. Essence of Gita is detachment. That will come in the later chapters. But here, the very first thing, when Sri Krishna began to speak, in the first chapter, Sri Krishna did not speak. Only Arjuna was speaking. When Sri Krishna began to speak at the beginning of second chapter, verse number 2 and 3, what did he say? To imbibe and practice strength, mental strength, especially at this stage in our lives. We can't be physically strong like we were when some of us, I'm speaking of myself. So mental strength, moral strength, that is very important. So then Arjuna again still suffering under confusion. So Arjuna Vacha, first message, strength, that we make a note of it in the Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna from 4th verse onwards in the second chapter until 8th verse, 4 to 8, 5 verses. Again, he explains his confusion, and he says, verse number 4, Arjuna Uvacha, Katham Bhishmamaham Sankhye Syami Pujarha Arisudana. How can I, O Krishna, fight back with various weapons in war? Bhishma and Drona, who deserve my reverence. Pujarha. Pujarha means one who is worthy of worship. Bhishma and Drona especially are worthy of worship. Drona was the teacher of all the Pandavas and Kauravas too. Sankhya means in the war. Katham Yushubi Pratyotsami. Yushu means the arrow. How can I shoot arrows towards Bhishma and Drona, who are so very, very valuable, play such important role in my life? How can I do that one? And then he says in the 5th, 6th, 5th and 6th verses, I will summarize. He says, these people are very dear to me. They are very honored people. Telling these people to gain some kingdom, and the kingdom comes with the stain of their bloods. What kind of pleasure can we have by obtaining the kingdom by killing our own very dear people who are very dear to us? And then now he says, I don't know whether it is better for me for us to be killed or for better for us to kill them. Either way, it looks very dissatisfactory, unsatisfactory to me, Arjuna says. And then verse number 6, he says, Nachaita vidma tataranno gariyo, which is better of these two options. Two options are there in the war. Either we win, Pandavas win, but then when we win, we have to kill all the Kauravas and their army, and we can get the kingdom, but the kingdom comes stained with the blood of the Kauravas, Bhishma, Drona, everybody else. That is one option. Other option is Yadiva no Jayayo, Yadiva Jayema no Jayayo. They will win. Kauravas will win. We are a smaller army. They will kill all of us and they will get the kingdom. Whether it is better to get killed by the Kauravas, is that better, or is it better to get the kingdom at the cost of the lives of all the people who are very dear to me? Like this, he is in a dilemma. Now, the important verse is verse number 7. That paves the way for Sri Krishna to begin his real Vedanta teachings from verse number 11 onwards. So, verse number 7 I will read. Karpanya doshopahata svabhavaha Prichami tvam dharma sammudacetaha Yachreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. My inborn nature has been overwhelmed by the bane of faint-heartedness. Karpanya doshpata sabha. Karpanya means faint-heartedness, weakness, confusion, extreme confusion and stress. Dharma sammudha chetaha tvam prichhami. I am going to ask you, Sri Krishna, I am overcome by the confusion of dharma. What is dharma? What is adharma? Whether to kill other people is dharma, or to gain the kingdom, or to surrender and not fight, is that the dharma, which I don't know which is the right thing to do. Sammuda Cheta, my mind has become confused. I'm full of confusion. Yachrayasya Nishitam Bruhitan me. Shreyas means what is best. What is best for me of these options that you said before. Tanme Bruhi, please tell me what is best for me. Nishchitam Bruhi, so with certainty clarify what is the best course of action for me to do. Because you fight and kill all the relatives if you can, and obtain. The last line is very important in seventh shloka, second chapter. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam te aham shishyaha. I am your disciple. Now, for the first time, Arjuna surrenders to Krishna as a disciple. Shishyasteham, I am your disciple. I have become your disciple. Until now, what was he? Friend. Krishna was a friend of the Pandavas. They treated each other as friend. Duryodhana, Dharmaraja, Bhishma, Dharmaraja, Bhima, Arjuna, they all treated Krishna as a friend. Krishna treated them also as his friend. It's a friendly relationship. Satya Bhava it is called. Now, here Sri Krishna, Arjuna changes that one. He says, Te aham shishyaha tvam prapannam mam shadhi. Shadhi means please give me instruction, teach me. Shadhi means teach me. And he has said, tvam prapannam. Prapatti means surrendering to the will of God. Tvam prapannam means I have surrendered to you. Arjuna surrenders himself and takes the position of a disciple and asks Sri Krishna for instructions. Mam shadi. Tvam prapanna mam shadi. Te aham shishyaha. When we have to gain some knowledge, first thing we have to do, according to the Upanishads, is to approach a teacher who is qualified teacher. When you approach a teacher, what we should do? We should surrender to the teacher, keeping aside our ego. And then three things we have to do when we approach a teacher. Those three things will come in the fourth chapter. We'll study them in detail. Briefly here, what Arjuna is doing is he's doing the right thing. When we seek knowledge from somebody, first thing is we have to surrender to them. In the fourth chapter, there is a verse. There Sri Krishna says, what we should do when you approach a teacher seeking knowledge. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Pranipata means sashtang pranam, 8 parts of the body touching the floor. What does it indicate? It indicates total surrender, keeping aside our ego with great humility. With humility, we have to be humble when we approach a teacher. With humility, we have to surrender to a teacher. Second thing we have to do is pariprashna. Pariprashna means not asking some question to impress the teacher, but pariprashna means, pari means, the preposition pari means from all sides, thoroughly, from every angle. Prashna means question. We try to understand something from every perspective, not just from one perspective. Thoroughly understanding any given topic or situation is pariprashna, inquiry. Sincere, thorough inquiry, pariprashna. Second thing, first is pranipata. Pranipata means sashtang pranam, indicating surrender. Second thing is pranipashna means seeking inquiry, inquiring into the nature of reality with sincerity. Third thing we have to do is sevaya. Seva means personal service to the teacher as much as possible. Later on, when we come to the chapter 4, we'll study this in detail. 3 things have to be done. Arjuna is doing all those 3 things in verse number 7. He says here, I have surrendered to you. Pam prapannam, mam shadi, te aham shishyaha. This is the beginning. Really, Arjuna is really now receptive to what Sri Krishna says. Until now, in Arjuna's mind, the dominant point was his own confusion, his own fear how to fight with that. Now his mind is ready to receive Sri Krishna's instructions. He says, I have surrendered to you, I have become your disciple. Well, until now they were friends. Now I have become a disciple. I have taken refuge in you. Mam Shadhi. Please give me instruction what I should do. This is the beginning, real beginning of Bhagavad Gita teaching. Then it's already 3 o'clock. We'll go to verse number 10. Sanjay watch verse number 9, second chapter. Evamatva Rishikesham Gudakeshah Parantapaha Anyotsya iti Govindam Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha. Having thus spoken to Krishna, Evam Rishikesham Uktva Gudakesha Parantapa. Gudakesha means Arjuna who had overcome sleep. Parantapaha means also one who can squash the foes, enemies. Nayosya, I am not going to fight now. You have to clarify the doubt I have, the confusion I have in my mind. Please teach me. Until then, I am not going to fight. Nayosya, iti Govindam Uktva. Having said this to Govinda, to Sri Krishna, Toshni Bhagava. Very quiet, ready to listen. Now, unless the student's mind is prepared and ready to listen to the teacher, the teaching will not be effective. If the student has his own thoughts in the mind and not ready to receive the teacher's instruction, then teaching will not be effective. So Arjuna had reached the stage when he is fully ready and ready to receive, receptive to the teaching of Sri Krishna. This is the most appropriate time for Sri Krishna to begin his teachings. Now, that is verse number 10. Verse number 9. Verse number 10 is Tamuvacha Hrishikeshaha Prahasanniva Bharata Senayor Madhye Vishidantamidam Vachaha. Hrishikeshaha Tam Uvacha. Hrishikesha tells Arjuna, Prahasanniva, as if smiling. He was kind of somewhat amused because Arjuna was came there to begin the war. Everybody is ready and ready to start the war. Bhima is very anxious, impatient. Why are these people discussing philosophy? Kaurava was ready to kill us, and there these people are going. They are discussing philosophy. Bhima, everybody was impatient. But at that time, Arjuna asked the question, and now Arjuna's mind is fully prepared and ready to and receptive to receive the teachings of Sri Krishna. That is the appropriate time for Krishna to begin his teaching. So Rishikesha, Sri Krishna, Tamavacha happens in between the two armies. Now we'll stop there. Verse number 7 is the beginning of Vedanta teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. You might notice that Shankaracharya has not commented on the first chapter at all in the Shankara commentary of the Gita, if you had. And he has not commented on the first 10 verses of the second chapter also. His commentary begins with the 11th verse. Shankaracharya's commentary, Gita commentary, which is very famous, begins with the 11th verse. And next time, we will start with the 11th verse and then study the second chapter. The real substance of Bhagavad Gita comes in the second chapter. We'll try to study them as much detail as possible. Now, if you would like to ask any questions or comments, or I'd like to really welcome your feedback. Sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyamtu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om, may all be happy, may all be free from afflictions, diseases. May all realize what is noble and auspicious. May no one be subject to misery. Om peace, whether it be peace and joy in our hearts, whether it be peace and harmony amongst all beings, and may there be peace everywhere in nature. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.